God, the New York Mets are so entertaining. Yeah, that was fun. No matter what, win or lose, they entertain you. That's the point of sports, right? This team is entertaining as hell. And I saw the bullpen breakdown of how they got the outs. And I have this little fun game that I play with the boys where we have the number of outs remaining when the bullpen comes into the game and the number of runs that the Mets are leading by. And we have a countdown, whichever runs out first. So in this case, I think it was nine. I think they needed 9 outs, or actually, I think they needed 12 outs. And they had a 3-run lead. And they needed 9 outs and still had a 3-1 lead. And then it got to the ninth inning with a 3-run lead, and Adam Ottavino comes in. Man, they just play an entertaining brand of baseball. Win or lose, whether you're a fan of the team or not, it's hard to hate the New York Mets. I love them. They're entertaining as hell. It's so much fun. And despite the fact that they're 10 games under 500 after the win today, they're still super entertaining. And the craziest part is since May 1st, and this stat was going around, but since May 1st, they've lost 6 games in which they went into the ninth inning with the lead. 6 games that they went into the ninth inning with the lead. No other team has lost more than 2 such games where they went into the ninth inning with the lead. And you think about it, because my whole thing is the Mets they're not actually this bad. And yet sometimes I think maybe they are this bad. But if you think about it, if you take those 6 losses, and again, no other team has lost 2. So let's say they're as bad as the second worst team in the league at that. So you make them 4-2 instead of 0-6 in those games. And all of a sudden you're looking at their record instead of, what is it, 26-36? Instead, now they're 30-32. Like, it's an entirely different thing. This team, we're looking at this team from a totally different perspective. And so I still believe that they can turn it around. But the one thing that is for sure, and it's kind of different than last year, although last year at this point, they weren't irrelevant yet. I want them to just stay relevant, because as long as the Mets stay relevant, they're entertaining as hell. Meanwhile, the Yankees continue to rake. Juan Soto! I mean, that was unreal what he did in San Francisco. Him and Judge, stupid good. I mean, the numbers they're putting up, I mean, they're being compared to Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. But, and the point of this is, you see I'm wearing my Rangers, if you're watching this, my Rangers hoodie. The point of this whole thing is, despite how fun and how great the Yankees have been, and I was ready to tweet out, oh, classic 2022 game. This is when it started, beginning of June, when the Yankees, they had that magical run to start the year, and then all of a sudden they started punting on games after they won the series. The third game of the series, it didn't matter. Bringing the scrubs in the bullpen. This was going to be a 2022 loss, and instead, hey, go home, 6-3 on the road trip. Hey, you feel good about yourself. Instead, Juan Soto made all the difference, because he came up in the ninth and did what he does after a Volpe triple, which was clutch, and the Trevino running the ball out, because every guy knows that just get it to the next guy, just get it to Volpe, just get it to Soto, just get it to Judge, and something good will happen, and good things continue to happen for this Yankee team. So maybe 2024 is different. And yet at the same time, I'm wondering, does 2024 being different mean that they have to win a championship? And it's such a hard question to ask. It's stupid. On one hand, I feel like we just have to enjoy the season, because think about it. And I've talked about this before. 124 teams. There are 124 teams across the 4 major sports in North America that everyone follows: the NHL, NBA, NFL, and Major League Baseball. There's 124 teams across those 4 leagues. There are 4 champions every year. That's it. 4 of the 124, which means for 120 fan bases, for 120 teams, you go home at the end of the year disappointed. You go home mad, upset. Even for the teams that are happy, the sports fans that are happy, like, look at Dallas fans. They're happy. Their team's in the finals. Their other team just got sent home against the Oilers in the Dallas Stars. So 120, the vast majority, over 99% of these teams, and I think that's the math, I don't know, will go home unhappy, will go home disappointed at the end of these seasons. And only 4 teams will go home at the end of the day happy, successful, with a championship. So is it really fair to judge the entire success of a season on championships, when at the end of the day it's entertainment? That's what comes back to the Mets. They're entertaining me. I don't care. And I know I'm not a Mets fan, and if I was a Mets fan, it would probably be hell. But They're entertaining the hell out of me. Whereas the Yankees right now, the same thing. They're entertaining me. But they're setting the expectation also. They're setting our hopes up. They're getting our hopes up. But are we going to ruin the whole 6 months of enjoying Yankee baseball because in October they might fold like they've done for the last now 15 years? Which brings me to the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers are the exception. The Knicks, I felt like I got everything I possibly could have out of them. I enjoyed it. The entertainment value, I got everything. I loved them. They fought till the bitter end when they had every right to give up. The Knicks had every single right to roll over and just say, the injury bugs got us. We quit. War of attrition. All the phrases you've heard thrown out there. It became too much for us. The Knicks could have done that. They didn't. They kept fighting. That's why I love this Knicks team. This New York Ranger team, the second it got tough, they rolled over and died. They quit. That I can't accept. I wasn't sad when the season ended. It was like last year, too. I wasn't sad after the year. I'm still sad about the 2022 team. That's what keeps happening. Every time the Rangers lose, I get sad about that team again. Because this team that should have gone to the Stanley Cup final at the very least rolled over and died, showed no heart, showed no fight when this series got tough. After winning the first 7 games of the playoffs the way they did, after the magical game from Chris Kreider in Game 6 against Carolina, going up 2-1 with those overtime wins against Florida, and then to just roll over and die the second it got a little difficult, to not even show up for a Game 6 down in Florida, to not even show up for the majority of a Game 5 at home, that's pathetic. That's a team that needs to look in the mirror and say, we need major changes. And so despite the value of the entertainment you got all season long, the comeback wins, the most in the league, the President's Trophy, the sweep in the first round, the magical Chris Kreider game, going up 3-0 against Carolina, all the different things, the Stadium Series game and that magical win, all the different things that happened this year, they're not worth it when you talk about the New York Rangers. I'm sorry. Sure, the entertainment, it's fun. It's not worth it. Maybe the Yankees it is. Maybe for other franchises it is. The Knicks, that's a perfect example. I got everything I possibly could have out of them. And guess what? The Knicks moving forward, their window is just opening. They have a young core. The Rangers are now stuck with a rotten core that for 3 years in a row has proven they can't get it done in the playoffs. And now it feels like you need a reset. Now you wonder, does Igor want to sign the extension here? Now you wonder who has to get moved. Do you have to move a fan favorite and the guy who is the face of this franchise and my favorite athlete currently in New York, in Chris Kreider? Do you have to move him to brighten the future? Can you get rid of a guy who just signed a huge extension and has a no movement clause like Mika Zibanejad? Is it going to be another case where the Rangers have to trade their captain because he's a liability? Well, this case will be the first time he's a liability. With Callahan and McDonough, there were other circumstances. Not another Ranger captain who needs to get traded. And all these questions come up. Is Panarin a playoff player? Can he be good in the playoffs? Can that work? And all these questions create a problem. And so, sure, I understand that most teams don't win championships. 4 out of the 124 teams win championships. So enjoy the ride. Enjoy the entertainment. Enjoy the incredible year that Juan Soto is having this year. It might be the only year he's here. Enjoy the effort and the heart that the Knicks show on a nightly basis. And by the way, Jalen Brunson doubled down again on their podcast that came out on Friday. He said, yeah, I had every opportunity. We don't want that excuse. We had every opportunity to win that series. We're up 3-2. We could have gone up 3-0 without that Nemhard 3. Sure, we were hurt, but we had every opportunity to win. He's saying that now, even removed from it, even after everything. That team never quit. The Rangers quit. I don't know where you go from here. I honestly think you have to trade both Mika and Jacob Trouba. That's what I would do. Obviously, Mika has the no movement clause. We'll see how that goes. Build around Trocheck. Build around Lafreniere. Keep Kreider as the veteran presence. Maybe even give him the Sia, which I think he should have had in the first place. Continue to build on the young defensemen in Fox and Miller and Schneider. Bring up Zach Jones. There's a lot of different directions where you could go, but I I don't feel like, again, that I'm sad about the 22 team. That was the team. That was the year. I'm not sad about this year's team. This year's team is pathetic. They're a joke. That's honestly, those are my Rangers thoughts and opinions. All right. Like, subscribe, share the podcast. You want to buy a hat? I saw Brian Bumgarner wearing a Huga House hat. I saw Shane Gillis wearing one. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers wearing one. The boys are buying the merch. You should too. Some cool swag we got going on. Use code Rami, Rami. Link is in the description. And you get 15% off your order, and you can look as cool as some of those other guys. And obviously me. Till next time, like, subscribe, share the podcast. Appreciate you all for listening. See ya.